Okay, so on the last video we created this Gitub app, right? Just like this. And now we are going to see it working not on my local host because I cannot test it here, but actually I just updated all my code to my virtual private server, my VPS, on the socialite.laraning.com. So this code is exactly what we just made here, and there is no difference at all. Okay, so I'm just going to click on the register. Just like we saw, and here we have this Gitub. So look, now starts the magic to happen. I'm going to click it and see the link there at the bottom left. It says socialite.laraning.com/login/Gitub, and then it will redirect using the provider of this Laravel Socialite to the Gitub. So here we go. Click it there, and actually it was so fast because I was already logged in on my Gitub, and actually when it came back it showed me the information on the user. So let me just not be so fast. So I'm going just to clean my clear browsing data. I think I can do this, and we are going to do it again. So I'm actually going to close the browser and open it again. So here, socialite.laraning.com, register, Gitub. No, there you go. So normally this is what happens when you click and you're not logged in. So it says sign in to Gitub to continue to Laraning Socialite. So remember, this is the name of the app that we gave here. So I'm just going to use Laraning to sign in, and then it redirects me back, see, with using that Gitub callback redirect route that we just created with some code here. Don't worry about this part because it's all managed by the Laravel Socialite package, okay? What counts is that there is a moment on your code here on the handle provider callback after creating the user instantiation here, you get this token, okay? So this is something that came on the code of the Laravel documentation, as you know. So from here, now we need to start doing some things, because you might think, okay, I have the user, so am I logged in or am I registered or not? So actually, you're not. So let me show to you what does this mean and what you can do from here on. So let's die and dump. So I'm just going to copy the file to my server, and we're going to do this operation again. So we're going to do it several times, so I'm just going to put it here. Register, Gitub, and it might do it immediately exactly because the session token was already active. So as you know, I was already logged in on Gitub. I have the persistent connection on Gitub saying remember me. That's why I didn't have to introduce anything else. And here on the user, as you can see, you do have some methods here, some attributes that you can use actually to retrieve information. So you have like the email, you see you have like an avatar if you want to use it. You just copy paste here, and as you can see, it shows my avatar of the Laraning. So, and then you have this user with all of the properties that you can retrieve to actually register the user on your Laravel application. So what does this mean? It means that you're not going to have a user like in the common sense where you have an email and password, but for instance, in this case, you will not have a password even. You just have an email, but all the process of, let's say, logging in a user is made on the OAuth provider, not actually on your Laravel web application. So don't worry about that, because all the process is very secure. Of course, it uses OAuth. You can search for that on the internet. But what we are going to do now is, okay, so I have these, but am I registered? I'm not registered. Sorry, am I logged in? I'm not logged in on my web app. No, at this moment, you're not logged in at all. What just happened now is Gitub gave you back the information about the user that logged in. So now what you need to do is actually to make the login using this user. So you should actually be able to create auth and then log in and somehow pass here a user model, in this case the user model that we have normally here on the app user, okay? And this is what we are going to do. So what we are going to do here is a piece of code that actually will just do something like this. So it will try to find a user, on your database, in this case table users, okay, as we know. And if it finds out, it logs in automatically. If not, then it registers the user and then logs in. So this is basically what we are going to do here in a very simple way. It's not complicated code, so let's try to do it here together. So first of all, let's see how we can find that user on the database. So basically, you have a user that has in this case, an email, right, and a password. So as you can see on the default Laravel database. So in this case, we are not going to have a password here. So we need to do something about it, because if we try to register a user, Laravel is going to give, of course, an error saying that the password is mandatory. So first of all, let's just go here to our database migrations, create user stable, and I'm going to say that the password is nullable. Okay, we are not going to have passwords here. The password is stored on the Gitub repository. It's not stored here. Github just tells us, okay, this user made a successful authentication and gives us a token that then we can use from our side. Okay, so as you can see, I just placed password nullable, and then we are going to run again a migration on this part on my virtual private server, and here on this Gitub. Okay, so we are going to do something about it. In this case, we'll try to find it or not. So first of all, in this case, let's do it, for instance, with the following code. So I'm just going to create here my user, in this case trying to find out if we do have a user with that email. So I'm going to put where email user email. So basically, let's see if we find a user already on our database with that email that was passed by the provider here on this user object. And in case we don't have a user, then we need to create it. So my user, it's a user that will be created with a name that will be username, and here with an email, user email. So just like this. Okay, so again, very simple. If it doesn't exist, we create it, and now we can log in that user on using our default gate here, and we'll do a persistent authentication. In this case, with the, like the remember me, right, equals to true. Finally, we need to redirect this page to the page that we will just redirect. I think there is a redirect path. Redirect. Sorry, I'll just go here. Dedicated users, redirect users. Yeah, redirect path. So we just put it here, redirect path. Okay, so we will let Laravel authentication, on this case on the trait, define that and give it that. Normally by default it's going to be this home here. Okay, we're going to see that right after. So again, handle of Gitub user, then again my user code. If not my user, then create, and then auth, log in my user. Okay, I'm just going to pass all this code to my server. I'm just going to be back in 1 second. Bear with me. And okay, I just pass it. You didn't see it because I just paused the video and continue. But I just use here the FTP to pass the login and run and migrate fresh to remove the password. So here on the create users string password nullable, because we are going to save your user with the name and email, and that's it, not with the password that we just talked before, right? So auth login, return redirect, and let's see if it works. I'm going to register. On this case, I will not use this part here. I'm just going to Github. Reauthorization required to say OK. And bingo. See, Laraning here. Log out, nothing else. So I have here the database on my VPS. Let's see what happens. So see, one line was created called now Laraning email, and that's it. So now the code that we use there, we use the same for the login. It's exactly the same code because, as you can see, we just verify if the user exists or not. And if it doesn't exist, we just log it in. So again, to complete this tutorial, let's just do it very quickly. So on the login here, I'm just actually going to just to copy paste this part of the code here. This HTML login, and I think it's somewhere here. I'm just going to copy the file to the server. In this case, develop Socialite, and then resources. It's on the auth. Okay, views. Sorry, auth, and then login. With an F5, there you go. Github. See? So I click now. Let's see if it works. And actually, again, I was already logged in on the Github. It says, "Welcome, Laraning." See? So it's very, so just to see, just show something to, I go to Github. It is going to be logged in because I had to remember me. So I'm going to sign out. And now we are going to do it again here on the Laravel and going to the login and do Github. See, it's not going to log me in because I made a logout. No, I do sign in and it goes back to the Laraning here. So pretty straightforward, nothing complicated. And of course, there is more things you can do here. For instance, what happens if I have a GitHub and a Facebook account and I'm still learning, you know? So I don't want to create two user IDs here on this part, right? For that, you need what is to be called, it's called a social identity, meaning that you need to have an additional table where you actually join all of the providers into a unique user ID. Given by a primary key identity, like for instance the data like the email. Okay, so you actually check if the user is the same by the email. That is the most common way to do it. What all you need to do is actually to go here to your code on the login control and not be as pretty straightforward as this. In this case, you need to actually go create a social identity and then come back. I call it social identity. You can call identity whatever you want to call it, because identity means aggregation of several provider IDs inside the same user ID. But again, it's also easy to be done. I think you with this tutorial you could already understand the rationale behind it. So I hope now with this tutorial we can see much more websites with the social authentication integration. As you can see, we just demystified it. It's very simple, and hope to see you again soon on my next videos. Thank you very much for watching this series. Bye bye.